And the facts are that the United States need a point to be sure of avoiding another early departure. They could find themselves, if they were to lose by 1-0, in a situation where lots would have to be drawn with Ecuador for the final qualifying place. They're pleased to have Eric Wijnaldum, the number 11, their only goal scorer in the tournament so far, with those 2 goals in the opening game against Chile. They're pleased to have him playing tonight. There's been concern about his fitness. And he lines up with Joe Max Moore at the kickoff. Steve Sampson, the interim coach, hoping for progress here. If it's secured, it might just secure him the job on a permanent basis for the Americans. Tom Dooley getting forward well. And Argentina, with so many changes, finding themselves on the wrong end of a fast start from the United States of America. And some early work for Bossio to just touch this one over the top.
Well, that's a very positive start there from the USA. Ball rebounds back to John Harkes, who strikes it with his right foot, and that's a good save from Bossio in the opening minutes.
Caligiuri. Who's playing his 100th international tonight. Terrific landmark for him, only the 2nd player for the United States to reach that figure. And the other is on the pitch tonight, Balboa. Go! Ernie Stewart having a look at the free kick. Alexei Lalas has come forward. Caligiuri there as well. Caligiuri trying to lure Argentina out. Well, the United States began well against Chile, particularly in the first half of that game. And they were beaten by Bolivia by a moment of magic from Echeverri. They do feel that the World Cup campaign has elevated their status in the footballing world. This is an opportunity to prove that point. The referee, Marcio Rezende from Brazil. Dooley with the free kick. Good support here for Argentina, as expected. Dooley claiming that he got the ball. He gets away with the challenge with just a word of warning from the referee. As a scorer in Daniel Passarella's first match as a coach for the national team against Chile back in November. Fabbri stopping Wijnaldum. The early struggle for supremacy here between one team which has changed its players and another which has changed its tactics.
Because of the system there, you see Stewart back in a very defensive area on the left-hand side. He'll be doing a lot of backtracking.
As Perez, in goes Batistuta. Not quite for Argentina.
Well, he's quickly onto it, Batistuta, isn't he? But unfortunately, his colleagues don't react as quickly as he does.
Well, the referee stopping the game here because of the injury to Balboa. And certainly they'll want him back on his feet, part of the established centre-back pairing with Lalas to deal with Batistuta and his sidekick tonight, Acosta. Gallardo. Now it came at an awkward height for Acosta. He handled it, whether he could have dived in head first, only he knows. He didn't. But you do feel from the evidence of the first 14 minutes that the United States might have defensive problems coping with this system that Steve Sampson's gone for here. Batistuta! Maybe designed particularly with him in mind, but it didn't stop him blazing away.
Well, that's the shot of a man in form, isn't it? He's got to be 25 yards there, but he's not concerned about that. He's so confident at this moment. Wouldn't surprise you if that found its way in the back of the net. But I think Casey Keller, to be fair, had it well covered.
Perez. Altamirano. Back with Fabbri. He's usually been around the Argentina squad without really establishing himself as an out-and-out regular. Perez. It's a booking for Klopas.
You may have just heard that shout there coming from the American dugout. Put Lalas on Batistuta. To be honest, we've been playing 15 minutes and they don't know what they're doing up at the back. They started off with 3 central defenders. Balboa's in trouble, they're injured. They've had to put Dooley at the back. I think he'll be coming off. They need to make a change.
And that was the reason for the shout. To suggest that Balboa was responsible in the early planning for Batistuta. So on comes Mike Burns. Gallardo's the number 10. Cut out by Klopas. Jones.
Hey, boys, what's the change?
Well, there have been 1 or 2 rather wild challenges from Argentina. That one from Schurrer earns him a yellow card.
And I think that'll continue, Martin, in the tournament, because whilst there is no suspension for yellow cards, we're going to see more and more of those sort of challenges. You know, I was very, very surprised to see Ayala playing tonight. When he was booked in the last game, I thought that he would miss a game, but here he is tonight.
This is Klopas. That's a great run, and Ayala might well get booked again.
That's the sort of challenge I'm on about.
There's a very determined break from the Greek-based Frank Klopas, Greek-born as well, brought up in the United States, and it was Ayala who flattened him. And a chance for the USA here.
Well, that's unbelievable if he's got away without a yellow card for that, because that was a diabolical tackle. No attempt to play the ball.
Well, Ronaldo has already scored from a free kick from this type of position in this tournament. He did it in the World Cup, you might remember, against Switzerland as well. He's the number 11. Here he goes, deflects off the wall for a corner.
Yes, Argentina knew the danger, didn't they? They've done their homework, they put a big wall up there. Purposely 2 or 3 of the big men who normally go to mark at the back post were purposely put into the wall to give them a bit of height.
John Harkes will take the corner. Ayala deals with it. Back to Harkes from Stewart. Early ball from Harkes. Jones. A goal! Drilled into the bottom corner to give the Americans the joy that you're seeing expressed here, and in the middle of that huddle, it's Frank Klopas.
Well, the ball breaks very, very kindly here for Klopas. Here you see a tackle comes in. He shoots hard and low, the keeper's unsighted, and it goes in the bottom corner. You can't fault the keeper for that. Bossio had little chance. And it's just the start the US need.
They've never beaten Argentina. Down the years, there have been some huge defeats for the Americans. 11-2 in the 1928 Olympics. 6-1 here in Uruguay in 1930. That was a World Cup semi-final. Might surprise you. But of course, it was a pretty small world field then. They've had some hammerings from Argentina in the past, but when they need to be at their best and make a piece of history here, it is a great start, provided by an opportunist goal from Klopas. And yet the positive attitude has been reflected in the opening goal of the game. Long, long way to go yet before we can celebrate qualification. Gallardo. Perez. Altamirano. Acosta going for the cross, beaten by Dooley. Espina. Well, Dooley had stayed down from the earlier incident, and Argentina are ruining the miss. And once Batistuta had got it down, almost a home fixture for Argentina in Paysandu. Short free kick from Stewart. Winalda. It'll come for Kobe Jones. He's done well, and they've got another one, and it's Alexei Lalas cropping up at the near post. 2-0 to the United States. A truly sensational first half here for the Americans.
Well, what a great ball that is from Jones. Hits it into the near post, and what's Lalas doing there? Lovely little touch, and it's in the back of the net. I mean, we criticise this fella for getting forward at times when he should be at the back defending, but you're never ever going to complain about his enthusiasm for the game. He's got a tremendous attitude, a great will to win, and he finds himself in the opposing penalty box and tops up with a goal.
Well, it's a goal, a type of finish that Batistuta himself would have been proud of. And maybe he might just say to Batistuta, where were you marking me? But Batistuta trying to hit back himself. Comfortable for Keller. Well, his previously most famous goal against England a couple of years ago at Foxborough. But this in real competition and giving more insurance to the claims of a place in the last 8 for the United States of America.
On that occasion, it was from a set piece, if my memory serves me right, and the England Players knew exactly where he was. On this occasion, nobody could have expected him to turn up at the near post. Just not supposed to be there, but who's going to complain now? Certainly not the American players.
Gallardo was being impeded. The crowd felt, but not the referee. Well, there's certainly spicy fare on the menu here in Paysandu. Argentina, 2 goals down to the USA. Not going to affect qualification for them. Acosta, Batistuta, brilliant turn. He just, well, I was going to say allowed Lalas to get back. It was a brave block by this American flag bearer for the world game of football in a country that's still really trying to take it to its heart. Oh, Lalas lets it get away behind him for Batistuta. And Caligiuri, what a way it would be to celebrate his 100th cap, to be part of a victory against Argentina. Whatever happens here, it's a major story. If the USA get what they need, terrific. If Argentina come back, it's going to be well worth watching. And what a great tournament it's turning out to be. This is the final group game, and not one goalless draw.
I would think there's a lot of English supporters will be wishing that the Americans can hold this lead, because if I remember rightly, the win against England was regarded as the best, I would think, in the history of American soccer. If they were to win here, that would better that, I'm sure.
Well, there were a couple of wins against England, of course. The one in 1993 and the one in 1950.
You may remember that, but I don't.
I was in the World Cup. And they say that when it was over on the wires, as it used to be the form of communication then, but they thought it was a misprint. It should be 10-1. It was 0-1. When England was supposed to rule the world. First World Cup finals, of course, England ever took part in. Escudero. Altamirano. Play on. Acosta. Batistuta will get to it. Well held, Casey Keller from Espina. Well, Trevor, how much of this is down to good play by the Americans? How much is it down to maybe disorientation for Argentina with so many changes?
We spoke about it, didn't we, at the start of the programme, that when you make the changes, it certainly disrupts the flow of play, and it hasn't helped the Argentinians. But let's not take credit away from this US side. I like the way they started. I was very, very disappointed in the last game against Bolivia. They adopted a very bad attitude at the start of the game, but no complaints this time. They've been very, very positive, and that showed in the team selection.
Lalas with the header. This is Ernie Stewart. In the World Cup, he played up front. He's been a wide midfield man in this tournament, and now he's virtually operating as a wing-back on that left side. Klopas and Lalas, the scorers. Batistuta with a chance to pull one back. His best chance so far.
Well, he's had 2 excellent chances in the last 5 minutes. Here he drives the ball. Keller goes down very low. There's no need to make a save. It flies over the bar. Well, the US may be leading 2-0, but you can't see it staying that way. You've just got that feeling that if Argentina were to score, they'll be right back in this game. They're not convincing at the back, the US. Still seem to be in 1 or 2 problems there. Batistuta's got in on 2 or 3 occasions. He's hungry for a goal. I'll be surprised if he doesn't score in this game.
There he is. Harks.
Outside, wide!
Burns, who came on for Balboa. That was a bad break for the USA, but they put that behind them. Harks, who's never been frightened of shooting from distance, breaks for Stewart. Has a go himself. Beaten out by Bossio.
Keep coming!
Gallardo. Caligiuri. Part of the central defensive unit. Winalda. Harks. Neat work from Ayala. No one for Acosta to glance it on to. There was a little bit of worry earlier today about the weather here in Paysandu. The airport was closed because of fog. Plenty of supporters hoping to travel on the day from Montevideo had to change their plans. Here's Acosta! And one famous figure who was spotted at Montevideo Airport, the former US coach, Bora Milutinovic. Only to find his flight was cancelled. Jones supporting to the left. And really, attack is the best form of defence for the United States. They're quick, they're positive. And the yellow card for Altamirano. It's the type of running that defenders dread. And the tackling at times askew for Argentina.
It's that change of pace, isn't it? We've seen it from Stewart, just saw it there from Kobe Jones. Ronaldo's done well up front and really have surprised the Argentinian side with the tactics here. There we see Lalas again, big 22, he's up, he's looking for his second goal.
Maybe a break for Argentina here as we go into the 45th minute of the first half. Gallardo. Schurrer. Now remember, 1 point would be enough for the USA.
You see Schurrer there pushing forward on the left-hand side. That's the area that I'm talking about. That's where the space is. In behind Kobe Jones.
Free kick taken by Gallardo. Well, when Keller didn't get to it, you feared the worst for the USA. And what a psychological blow it would have been had their lead been halved by Acosta before half-time.
Yes, if that had been a goal, you had to have faulted the keeper. He elects to come to punch, but arrives just that split second late, and it could have proved costly.
Espina. Espina was Passarella's first captain, then he lost his place in the side. That's when Ayala got the job, but on the grounds of seniority, number 18 wears the armband tonight. Schurrer, stoppage time. Well, it's going to be a Another lengthy refereeing report to be filed at the end of this game. We had plenty of cautions when Chile met Bolivia in the earlier match in this group.
Well, it's a very niggly affair, isn't it? I've seen more late bad tackles in this game than I've seen in any of the tournament so far.
Well, Keller was able to knock it down safely enough. So Kobe Jones has joined the list in the referee's notebook. Half-time, and a brilliant half for the United States of America. Steve Sampson kept his tactics under wraps here, but when he unveiled them, they've taken Argentina by surprise. An attacking emphasis when you thought they might be looking defensively for a draw. Goals from Klopas and Alexi Lalas. It's Argentina 0, the United States 2, a shock scoreline at half-time at Paysandu. Simeone brought on for the second half. It looks like Espina and Escudero who've been replaced, and Tab Ramos has come on for the United States. And really, Trevor, you couldn't begin to predict how this will finish.
No, the only thing that was sure was at half-time Pastrana was going to change one or two things. As I felt personally, personnel, a couple of changes. As expected, Simeone's coming on. They need a wide player. He's done well in the wide area, Simeone, in the two previous games, and I think he'll cause problems on that right-hand side. And Ortega has looked an accomplished player in the centre of midfield. I think he will reinforce that central area.
So the best scenario for the United States is to win by 3 goals and top the group. The worst is to lose by 2, which would mean conceding 4 in the second half. And they're in trouble now as Schurrer got round the back. And Argentina making, or attempting to make, the sort of brisk start to the game, the second half that the United States made to the first half.
Yes, I still feel this is not a position of hopelessness. If they were to get the goal back, like I feel they will do, I'm quite confident that Argentina can get something out of this game.
Ayala has resumed the captaincy. That was Fabbri trying to connect with the corner. Acosta. Well, it took 3 to stop him. It's run out of play by Tab Ramos, who was born here in Uruguay. Ortega. Ramos. Well, we're not sure whether it's an injury that Frank Klopas has picked up. Possibly a slight reining in of the attacking philosophy for Steve Sampson.
Yes, we're not privy to what's happened in the dressing room, but I would like to think that it is an injury because they've adopted such a positive attitude in this first 45 minutes. And that's the way I would like them to continue, but they've made the one change.
Their second of the game, of course, with Balboa an early casualty, and Mike Burns brought on. Melanie Stewart has done some good work in wide positions. Down the left for the Americans, with Kobe Jones offering the same threat down the right. Another referee who's already produced the yellow card 7 times. Gallardo. Here's Fabbri.
Too much, Cap.
Burns, a small and mobile defender, and Kobe Jones running out of room. Physically, the United States players have stood up to the test, mentally as well, but the job is not completed yet.
They've also had to stand up to some ferocious tackles from the Argentinians, and the longer the game goes on, they certainly don't like losing, do they? And we've certainly seen the unsavoury side of Argentinian football at times in this first period. They've had numerous bookings. Let's hope they can stay on the field.
That was Moore trying his luck from outside the penalty area. Schurrer. 5 is Perez. Hasn't been able to influence the direction of the traffic in midfield so far. Clip there. The crowd thought by Harks, and the referee having given the free kick. It must have been a worry for Harks with one booking to his name already as to whether he might be a candidate for the red card. Ramos dwelt too long. It wasn't too far away from Schurrer.
Well, that was a good attempt, wasn't it, from the fullback? Just looks up, sees Keller just off his goal line. And Casey's pleased to see that just drop wide.
Jury, they've been grateful for his know-how in a more central defensive role. Simeone trying to supply some craft now to Argentina's midfield as a second half substitute. Acosta taken on by Simeone, but the cross drifts behind. Well, they came into this tournament, the United States, having won their own domestic U.S. Cup, seeing off Colombia, Mexico and Nigeria in the process. Here's Batistuta. Half claiming a penalty, half even while on the ground trying to tee up others supporting him. Simeone. Gallardo came back Batistuta's way again. Again he looked at the referee.
Well, the second one definitely wasn't a penalty, but I thought the first occasion he was definitely held back by an American defender.
The pressure is mounting, but the 2-goal lead is still intact. 7 minutes into the second half. Simeone has already injected some thrust. Batistuta.
Come on. Forward. Hold it.
More drawn deeper to try and stop the tidal flow, which is at the moment towards Casey Keller's goal. They're able to relieve little pockets of pressure in the first half with their own attacking verve, the United States. They haven't been able to do that in the second as yet. They will need to, you feel. Gallardo takes. Batistuta settles for the corner, which Gallardo will also take. off the line. Burns guarding the post there.
What a great header that was. Do believe it was that man in the picture, Simeone. Heads it towards goal. Burns is in exactly the right position on the post.
Keller comes this time. Batistuta, Schurrer. It's just touched off to him. He was a bit too close to Batistuta and the crowd. The pack of American players defending at the moment to make it really happen then. But Mike Burns was actually the saviour of that US Cup I was talking about a few moments ago in the final match against Colombia, in which the Americans needed only a draw. It was 0-0, and in the final seconds, Burns, on that particular post, turned aside a header by Bermudez of Colombia and kept it at 0-0. A goal for Colombia, and they would have taken the trophy. And you feel here that in this competition, that was a very, very crucial intervention again from Mike Burns.
Yes, you also feel that a goal isn't too far away for Argentina. Since the substitution that the US have made at half-time, they've completely lost the initiative.
Ortega. Just booted forward by Dooley, and it'll come straight back again.
Perhaps may have seen Winaldo there, asking his players to get forward and support him.
Harks. More. A little bit more control on the ball from the United States. They can't keep possession for long. Well, Batistuta. Very nearly an error of judgment from Caligiuri.
Step up! Step up! Yes, now we go!
Picked off by Dooley. Well, Acosta made a meal of that, and a less experienced referee might have fallen for it.
Yes, Acosta and Batistuta are certainly trying all the tricks. They're up to everything now, trying to get a penalty or a free kick around the edge of the box. He loses possession there, just runs into the defender. Referee was quite correct not to give anything.
Certainly, even if things really radically go wrong for the United States, they've given themselves a wonderful chance of qualifying by simply scoring the 2 goals. There was a risk of 1-0 defeat, and they would have been absolutely level with Ecuador. And it's not going to be that, is it? Ortega. Simeone. Getting bodies in the way as Acosta let fly, and Gallardo was there again. They're hanging on. And the yellow card for Stewart. The 8th of the game.
Once again, good refereeing. It's not been an easy game for the referee, but he's not been intimidated, despite 1 or 2 of the Argentinians play acting in around the penalty box. He stood firm. Certainly the US need that at the moment, because it's like a tidal wave. Wave after wave of attacks.
And they're down to 10 men for the moment as Burns goes off for treatment. And Keller's nowhere. Started to come. And this time does the job more decisively. Clumsy touch by Ayala, and the United States grateful for this corner. Not just because it's a chance to add to their lead, but it's relieves some of the pressure. Steve Sampson trying to get a message to to his players. Ronaldo to take it. Lalas, of course, is there. Dooley as well. It's over, nearly over Lalas. In fact, just diverted it away from those coming in behind him. Ortega. That's a ball forward by Tabremos to good effect. To Wijnaldum. Moore's there. Oh, Wijnaldum must score! Smash and grab in the second half for the United States, and they lead by 3 goals to 0. It's their night, all right, it seems.
Well, we've spoken all night about the inadequacies in the American defence, but there you see it in the Argentinian defence. A wretched mistake from the captain Ayala, persistence there from Joe Max Moore, and Wijnaldum follows it in to put them in a really commanding position at 3-0.
Well, it was Ramos to Wijnaldum, and all credit to Moore for not letting Ayala deal with it, and Wijnaldum also kept on running, and here's Batistuta. And at the moment, Argentina now in this position that we could scarcely have imagined. They might not win the group. They might have to play Brazil in the quarter-finals. They need to score to avoid that happening. Argentina 0, the United States of America 3. You have to pinch yourself to believe that this is really happening.
That's a great ball.
And here they come again with Jones.
Well, we said earlier in the first half at 2-0, this could be one of the greatest victories ever in the history of United States soccer. This is one of the shocks of world soccer. I've never seen a result like this for a long time.
And that's Burns back in the fray after going off for temporary treatment, running repairs.
What would the odds have been prior to the match? After an hour, US 3 up.
Ortega.
Forward! Come on, Eric!
That's good play by Burns. Moore. Wijnaldum's offside. So Eric Wijnaldum gets his 3rd goal of the competition after the 2 against Chile. And his 18th in all in international football. He's a player who's been touted around English football from time to time, comes over for trials. No one's taken him.
You can imagine at this moment what's going through Passarella's mind. It's an embarrassing scoreline for him. He's made so many changes. If they were to have to play Brazil in the next round, there's 1 or 2 questions going to be raised after this game.
Well, the goal difference at the moment, +2 for Argentina in this group, +3 for the United States, and they would be level on 6 points if it stays this way.
Step up!
Ortega. Altamirano with a throw. Perez, good stop by Keller. That seemed to be arrowing for the bottom corner. Very sweetly hit. Simeone. Ortega.
Step up.
Ortega again. Schurrer. Kobe Jones beaten then. Schurrer doesn't get the better of Keller though. You feel he shouldn't have got that far.
You just thought there that perhaps here it is, it's going to go over, the referee's going to give a penalty. Schurrer stays on his feet, gets in a right-footed shot, and Keller turns it over the crossbar. You do feel that Schurrer has done better coming forward than he's actually done defending.
Well, we're still not sure of the way the quarterfinals will pan out. So all going to decide on what happens in the closing moments here, and Simeone is denied again with a header. 12 minutes left.
Well, once again we saw the near post flick on. Simeone goes with a header, and it's off the line once again. That's the second time we've seen that in the second half.
2 minutes away from a success which should be trumpeted all the way across the United States of America. One can never be sure the way the game is reported. There are undoubtedly media factions in the USA who are jealous of the world popularity of the game we all love and treasure, and don't go out of their way to help it develop in the United States. But they surely can't avoid praising this group of American players, and indeed Steve Sampson, the coach, whose position has been the subject of much discussion. The decision to be made on him at the end of August, but after this he has to be appointed surely. He said at the start of the tournament when they came here, getting into the knockout phase would be surely a measure of success, and they are there. All bar the confirmation of the final whistle in this match in Paysandu.
Yes, I would think that he's about 2 minutes away from being